All right. Do you have any viewers yet?
I didn't get a note. Oh, there you go. Now you're live. Now you're getting viewers.
I can see me seeing me.
Oh, now I can see you wave.
Yeah, there's a little lag, but
And there's sound, so you're good.
cool.
What is Mevo?
That's the camera brand because it streams actually directly from the camera.
Oh, cool.
Thank you, Anna. All right, Lisa will be in here in just a minute.
I guess we don't have to watch it on our phones.
Probably not.
Yeah. Who do we have on here? Let's see. Oh, I can't see it on here.
What stocks are you watching? Anything in particular?
Yeah. So I bought a bunch of Caribbean.
Hey, everybody. Lisa will be in here in just a minute.
Yeah. I say closed all the Yeah. I think Disney is pretty.
All right, I've got you centered kind of right here, just past the door. You want me to go pick that stuff
Right
up?
here? Yes.
Yep, and you're live right now.
Oh
Say
no,
hi.
hi. Hi everybody, Bob's gonna pick some papers up for us, so welcome to our pop-up training session, Where Do Listings Come From? I just wanted to start out with mentioning where we're going in the next couple of weeks or days ahead. We are definitely in a very fluid situation when it comes to our meeting together. Obviously, we're less than 10 people here today, and I just have a feeling that restrictions are going to get tougher. And I wanted to share a little bit about my history with you in that I have been a single mom. I got my real estate license in 1994. I have been through a lot of ups and downs and peaks and valleys in the story of life. And one of the things I wanted to share with you is I bounce. And I think that's what we all need to do right now. We need to really focus on what we can do today, even under restrictions that we're going to have. So I wish we could be live right now, and I'm hoping that you will be all keeping in touch with the Market Center. We have some single people. If anyone does fall ill, we want you to keep in touch with us. We really want to be a resource for everyone. We also want to make sure that we're preparing for the future and that we don't lose any more time in our business than we have to. So that being said, when I came here a couple weeks ago, I promised that we're not going to have your business experience anything during our transition. Well, I wasn't aware of a worldwide pandemic when I made that promise. So what I intend is to do, I got together with our faculty yesterday and we agreed that we would do a, what we're going to call afternoon team. Instead of having afternoon tea, we'll have maybe a 15-minute Zoom session where we can all kind of see each other and really connect with each other. Maybe 3 times a week is my thought in the beginning, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So look for your Lisa's List this weekend. It'll have more information about that with a link to our Zoom, and we'll have a Zoom call Monday at 3 o'clock. You also received yesterday a list of non-stop live stream training from Keller Williams. I'll try to keep you up to date with that also, but do give me feedback. If you're getting that list directly from Keller Williams and you're going to the live stream site, there's no point in me being redundant. as I said in my last email, Department of Redundancy Department. We don't want to overwhelm you. I know even Macy's and Talbot's and J. Jill are telling me how concerned they are about the coronavirus in my life. And I don't think I would send an email like that to your sphere of influence, because I don't know about you, but I'm tired of hearing about it. So anyway, let's make today's class as valuable as possible. I have no idea of like where I am in the screen here. This is a little.
You're smack dab in the middle.
Am I like?
I've got it from the edge of the door.
Like, are you just
over
seeing
past
my
the
head?
podium.
I don't know. Anyway, all right. So everybody has some papers in front of you, and we'll make sure this all gets emailed out to everyone. And today's session was, where do listings come from? So talk to me. We have 3 people here at least, and Bob is monitoring. Do we have some people on Facebook Live?
Oh yeah, we've got 7 right now.
7, awesome. Okay, so we've got some of you on. I'm trying to figure out which is page 1, because I'm a little backward here. I've got somebody else's stuff in here. Where's my words that work?
I think that's this one, right? No. where
Yeah.
this one's going?
Yeah. Hold on. Sorry. Okay. This. That. And this. Okay. Very good. And I should have, there's one more thing, Bob, on, there should be one more printed. Sorry about this, guys. I came into this hot on where do listings come from. It's either on my computer.
This guy?
Yes, sorry. All right, now we're all set. This was today's topic, and I decided to put a whole bunch more stuff in there. So if you do have any questions, our faithful Bob, we need to come up with another name. Who's Bob when he's Facebook monitor? Like,
Oh,
you just want to be Bob?
yeah.
Okay.
I
He
got
doesn't need an alter persona. All right, so Bob is monitoring our Facebook live feed, so any questions you might have, bring up there. And this is a non-tech class other than all this other technology trying to get in touch with you. So here we go. Anyone here, what do you want to get out of today's session on where do listings come from? We do have 3 people here today, so what do you want to get out of this, Alana?
Just absorbing different ways to get business, especially during this kind of unknown time.
Love it. Alana says absorbing the different ways to get business during this challenging time. And I love that contribution, and that's why there's so many extra pages here, and I seem a little disorganized, because I'm usually not this disorganized, but I feel like we have to be really fluid and on top of it. So I hope you don't mind the energy. I'm like, calm down, you gotta teach. All right, how about you, Chase?
I guess I'd just like one that I haven't focused on in the past to focus on for the future. I don't want to take a shotgun approach. I like to be more precise. So probably just pick one of them and go all in on it.
Okay, so I'm not sure if you're hearing Chase, so I'm going to repeat what's said in the audience, and that is that he's looking for just one more thing. He's already scanned through the paperwork, and he's still sitting here, so he may have found one nugget in there. And then, as I do in every session I go to, I've gone to Keller Williams training for 10 years plus, over a decade now, and I always just look for, if I grow by 1 inch, 1 foot, or 1 mile in a day, that one thing is always helping us grow. So thank you so much for being here on that, Chase, and that's a great attitude to have in coming to class. How about you, Gail? What are you looking to get today?
Kathy off my back.
Yeah.
There's so much I have to learn.
Yeah.
And I actually see here that estate sales and garage sales, I had always thought, what a great place to go, because these people most of them haven't contacted a realtor yet. They're trying to get their house in order. And it really is. And like Friday, Saturday, great for that, to learn. That's just what I mean.
So Gail also was I'm going to repeat for our audience at home, right? So Gail was also saying that I already noticed she was pilfering through these papers as well, and went right in on her nugget of the day, which is estate sales and garage sales. And I've got some great information about that, so I'll be happy to share it. So this class starts with a quote from The Alchemist, and those of you who have perhaps read The Alchemist, I love this line, "And when you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you achieve it." So how many of you believe that? And how many of you believe that we sometimes start there when it comes to listings? How many of you have said, "Oh, I prefer working with buyers"? you have just cursed your listing ability. And so I'd like each and every one of you to consider that we have to first approach our real estate career that it is our focus to gain listings. So does that resonate with any of you here? Have you ever caught yourself saying, I prefer to work with buyers, because you've just had that difficult seller, that difficult house that's really hard, and you think, I don't want to do this. And the universe hears that. So let's all focus that there is an abundance of listing inventory available. It's out there for us. And you really intend to take a listing this month. Bob, do you know where we're at on our listing count?
Still at 24.
Still at 24. That's okay. That means we only need 76 more before the end of the month. And here's what I'd like you to do. You're saying, oh, I don't know. Don't you notice that there's a worldwide epidemic and pandemic going on? Yes, I do. And maybe it could be a commitment for a future listing. Let's not say it's impossible. Let's say we're still going to keep it as a focus of our conversations. So before we move on, Bob, is there anything on Facebook Live, anybody asking a question there that we want to cover? Otherwise, we're just going to cover for Chase, Gail, and Alana.
Nope, just a question if we would email out your handouts. Which
Okay,
I said we would.
Perfect, absolutely, absolutely. So I'm going to call on Alana before we get started because we had a great conversation on Monday, right? And I had given her kind of an assignment. She's home with the kids. She knows all of her people are home with the kids. And Alana, would you share with us what you've been doing, or if it's working, or if you've had good feedback? What's going on?
Right now it's just about making the contacts, kind of being contacts and just being a resource of knowledge for people as they kind of go into this unknown territory. Nothing has resulted in any sort of appointments at this point, but that's not really my goal. My goal is just to be there and let them know if they need anything. I'm at home and I'm available to help them out any way that I can, not just in real estate, but just as a neighbor and being part of the community.
Awesome. I'm going to repeat what Alana said because I know it's hard for everyone to hear, and that's why I'm actually talking extra loud for the crowd here so that I make sure that the mic's picking up for you. Alana just shared that she didn't get any results, and we should go into this. I should share this. I have it on my phone, and so it's real. We have the pre-listing packet that I shared with everyone here a couple weeks ago, and one of my team members did go on a listing appointment over the weekend, and they listed their house, and the seller, tongue-in-cheek, I don't know if this is probably in poor taste considering where we're at, but it said selling a home in a dynamic market, and the seller had crossed it out and said in a pandemic market. And they took a picture of it and sent it to me. We haven't actually listed the home yet. We have all the paperwork signed, and I think it'll be going live on Monday. And who knows what's going to happen? We may not be able to show it. We're all prepared to do virtual tours, and we have the photographer out there now taking a really robust tour. We need to put probably a little extra effort, maybe spend a little more money on our tours so that they're very comprehensive. But I love that you said that. You didn't really expect it to say, oh, someone come list me now. It's really about building the relationship. And you didn't say, oh, you must be really crowded in the house. Do you want to buy a new home with all those kids? It's probably driving you crazy. All these cute things we're seeing on Facebook. That's not the way we want this conversation to go. That's why I want to give you a lot of options today. All right, Bob, how are we doing? You're going to raise your hand if somebody has a question so I don't have to keep interrupting and asking?
Yeah.
Awesome. Very good. All right, so where do listings come from? Here's the first one. You're all on Facebook, social media. And what is everyone's favorite subject? Themselves. So here's what we're going to do. Stop worrying about what the right post for you is. This is a perfect time. You've all been complaining for years. Social media is overwhelming. Social media is this. Get on there. Start making friends list, strategic friends lists. Break those friends into people that I'm in the PTA with, people that I know from the Rotary Club, people that are in my family that are never going to list with me anyway but always crowd my news feed. Make your friend lists so that you can be more strategic in the future about who might be listing soon. Absolutely have your previous customers as a specific friend list. And the more you can target and go in and like and comment on their things, the more their stuff will show up on your news feed instead of every new realtor post because you feel obliged to like your fellow realtor's stuff, right? We don't want to be rude, we like it, and then they just crowd our news feed and we miss a baby being born by one of our customers. So I urge you to create friend lists and also to stop worrying about what you post and just get in there and comment on other people's posts. The important thing is, think about it for yourself. Can you remember someone else's post from a week ago? You probably don't remember someone else's post for a week ago. But I can guarantee you, if you posted something that was very personal to you and someone made a heartfelt comment on your post and really edified and supported you, you could probably still remember it, even if it was a year ago. Is that correct? So stop thinking about what do I need to post and start thinking about how to nurture relationships with people who are feeling lonely at home, people who are reaching out in different ways, maybe with stuff that seems ordinary or trite. But if you react to it in a personal way, it's like that handwritten note. Give them a personal, not just a thumbs up or a heart, all that funny stuff. Let's do something personal and build those relationships. Absentee owner mailings. So absentee owners often own property that's being rented to other people, or they were accidental landlords because the market shifted, they moved away. They may not be up to date with the fact that properties have caught up to when they decided to be a landlord. And let's face it, with all of these institutional buyers and iBuyers that have come into the market, rentals may not be holding as steady as they have been, may not be as lucrative for those people. And I see a lot of apartment complexes going up and condos being built that are going to be rented. So it might be a good time to catch those people, to ask them if they want to sell. Everyone knows about a 12 by 12. We're going to be changing the language of the MREA, so hopefully, I don't think I'll be training in person, but if I am, I'll be here next week. If for some reason we have to close the office and I'm not here, look for a live presentation or a recorded presentation of understanding the 8 by 8, the 12 by 12, and 33 touch. The spoiler alert is the new MREA 2 is not going to be calling it that anymore, which is going to be super hard for me because it's one of my favorite concepts in the MREA. And we're going to talk about that from what I got from Family Reunion and that breakout session. Door knocking, geographic farming, for sale by owners, which I like to call talented do-it-yourselfers marketing their home on their own. Please stop using FSBO when you speak to people in the public. They don't speak our language. Don't ever walk up to the door of someone with a sign and say, oh, I like to talk to FSBOs. Like, you're not really endearing yourself. So remember, you like to talk to talented do-it-yourselfers marketing their home on their own. Here's another idea about expireds. A lot of you call expireds. Why not go back a year or 2 years and look at old expireds? See if that home ever did get relisted. Those people are likely not being bombarded by agents. Open houses, we're going to have to get really creative. One of our agents in Brandon is already marketing virtual open house this Saturday, and really cleverly marketed, has some keys hanging with virtual open house. He's not just saying, hey, tour this home instead of coming to an open house. He's actually saying, this is an open house. So how can we change our language during this time to not just say, here, see this virtual tour? How can we do a little extra, maybe with a voiceover, or maybe just going into, while we still can get out and about, maybe go out and take some neighborhood videos of where some of your listings are before we're taken off the streets. All right, so key allied resources. General contractor. How many of you know a general contractor, or every time you need one, are you on the intranet saying, anybody know? Bob Chase is trying to get your attention. How many of you know a general contractor? How many of you have given business to that general contractor? they tend to go visit people who are making renovation because they know they need that renovation in order to sell. So that's a great resource. It was one for tremendous business for me. One of my other favorite people, and this I have to give you some history. I lived in a Sears Roebuck house that was built in 1917, and I lived in a little suburb in Morristown, New Jersey, Morris Township, New Jersey, and you could walk to the train that took you to Manhattan. So this street had 40 by 100 lots, and this house was a Sears Roebuck house that you literally ordered from the catalog, and they built it, a little Cape Cod. And so was my whole neighborhood. We had several people in our neighborhood that were over 100 years old. So as you can imagine, as time went by, in the 17 years I lived there, I got to know the estate sale people. And this became a really good resource for me in those neighborhoods of when someone had passed away, the estate sale person, I would go to estate sales, they got to know me, and they would always invite me and keep me informed. So do you have an estate sale coordinator? Even if we don't look at it for future business, you are going to meet people who need that service. Do you have that person as an allied resource? Attorneys. Now we all think of foreclosure attorneys or real estate attorneys, but how about probate attorneys? How about family law? I'm always I think family law attorneys are really weird because what they do is break up families, but that's okay. They are still really good people to get to know. And one of my favorite calls to make to an attorney's office, a family law attorney's office, is, do you have a realtor right now who's helping you with pricing property in any disputes that you have? Because I'd be happy to be a resource for you rather than just trusting Zillow's Zestimate. I'd be willing to go out and do a personal tour of the home and give you an analysis. Now this is again an investment, but it really is only costing you time. And who wouldn't you as an attorney want a local resource instead of just depending on what Zillow says? So this is something that you can do as well. So think outside the box. I had a girlfriend who used to go to a lot of garbage sales, garage sales actually. I do not like garage sales. I am trying to get rid of stuff like that in my house for years, and it's still there. So this is not something I indulge in, but all of us have a friend who love it. And this friend actually owned a consignment shop, and she spent every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday every week going to garage sales. And all you have to do is teach your friend like that, that's a garage sale junkie, this script. Do you have one, Gail? Oh, you are one? Yeah, but you have a friend that loves them, right?
Yeah.
Do you have a friend that loves them? Yeah. Yeah. So you give them your card and you teach them this script. Wow. Bob, you like that word, right? Wow. It looks like you are getting ready to move. You have so much stuff out here. And I'll tell you, probably 1 out of 10 times, the seller says, as a matter of fact, we are. That's why we're having this garage sale. You can't even move in our house till we got rid of some of this stuff. And so then my friend would take my card out and say, I know the best realtor in the area, and here's her card. I'm going to give her your information if you don't mind. And that was the exchange. So teach your garage sale junkies that script. Make sure they have your cards. Now, you can only say thank you by taking them to lunch, perhaps. You cannot pay a referral for this. Be really clear, in the state of Florida, the law prevents any kind of referral. But I will tell you, I took my friend Kathy to lunch so many times, she did get a real estate license. So if that person would go and get the real estate test, they can join Just Referrals Tampa Bay for only $75 a year, and you can pay them a referral. They just can never conduct any real estate business. But believe me, she eventually did get a real estate license and actually joined my team and still had her consignment shop. So there are ways that you can compensate people, especially if they are licensed. So if you have a friend who's a garage sale junkie who's licensed and no longer active, even better. Also, market your current listings to open the floodgates. Now this is going to have a twofold purpose. The sellers that you put under contract with a listing 3 months ago had no idea we'd be facing this challenge. You didn't know either. But right now, you're not going to be able to count on putting an MLS and having it sell. So you're gonna need to have a proven plan or a plan of what you're doing to market the property. And we did have that customized marketing plan that we shared during our last listing presentation, so I'm not gonna go over that. But remember, you need to keep in touch with your sellers throughout this process, because their rave review of you when this is all over, saying how much you cared about them and how much you kept in touch with them and all the things you did to attempt to market their property, is going to be amazing as they're speaking with people who now are ready to list their home. So any questions on that? We've covered our page 1 of where do listings come from. Anybody did you get one nugget, Chase? All right, so Chase has his one nugget. I hope he doesn't leave. Hope he sticks around for a couple more. Alana, anything for you?
Yes, yes. I do have a question. What's your take on door knocking nowadays?
What's your take on door knocking? Okay. I would not do it.
That's kind of where I've been at. And it's
For the
so
risk of
naturally
you
for
and
me
your
to
family,
door knock.
as well as the perception of the
Yeah.
public, I would not do it.
Yeah,
But there are so many other things we can do.
right.
So maybe, again, like that virtual open house,
Mm-hmm.
perhaps you, do you use Land Voice or some other service? If you have RedX, Land Voice, Cold Directory, if you have any of those, perhaps that's a time to send an email that says, I'm doing some virtual door knocking today, and I would have loved to have met you in person. And just say, and maybe include a picture of yourself, like knocking on their door, or maybe do that on a social media site, and just say, I'm doing some virtual door knocking today. Does anyone want to have a conversation about what's going on in the real estate market? Something like that. Anybody have any? How many people do we have, Bob?
5.
5. Awesome. 5 people are watching. We love it. Okay, so we're going to close for the appointment. We have 10 closes here. I think that's where people fall short the most with listings, is they often are in a conversation about listings, and as my old boss used to say, they forget to ask for the order. I worked for an exterminating company for about 8 years when I was a single parent. We had 3 salesmen. And before the poor salesman could even get out of their door, the owner would peek his head out the back door and say, "Did you ask for the order?" Like they didn't even get in the building. But he was maniacal about making them close. So here's one of my favorite closes. Let's meet. It's not difficult. Anyone having trouble, do you need me to repeat that so you can write it down? Let's meet. Okay. So we have a soft close, direct close, the indirect close, the trial close. I'm not going to go through all of these because, again, I want to be mindful of everyone's time. But closing for the appointment, that's taking from the Win with Seller series, and I do have those 2 sheets for you. Remember to close. We often get in these conversations, and the fact that you didn't close is why they're not going to call you to list their home. They think you didn't want to do it. So remember, sellers want us to show that we, and this is a hard word, especially for women, are aggressive. They want someone who's going to aggressively market their home, who's going to be a strong advocate for them. If you can't even advocate for yourself, how confident am I in you as a seller that you'll advocate for me and my price? I need to know that you're strong and that you'll be an aggressive marketer and a strong advocate. These are words that we've been told aren't flattering. They're not feminine for sure. And yet it's a quality that people need in a realtor. So there's an exercise here of what you will intend to do. So I'll just quickly go through those for sale by owners, talented do-it-yourselfers, marketing their home on their own, expired listings, a geographic farm. They recommend in here apartments, and I would never argue with Gary Keller, but I wasted a lot of time on apartments. In the state of Florida, we have the ability to find people who are renting single-family homes. As my advice to you from my experience, and maybe it's limited thinking, do not market to apartment complexes. People living in apartments do not have the resources really to move on to owning a single-family home. someone that's ready to own a home will usually rent a home here in Florida. Now, in other parts of the country, this could be true. Where I lived in New Jersey, there were not a lot of single-family rentals. If you were renting, you lived in an apartment complex until you could afford a home. That doesn't seem to be the way it is here in Florida, so I would not ever market to an apartment complex. The spread between owning a home and being in a garden apartment is too different. We're not going to be able to use open houses right now, and those have been such a tremendous resource for us. Corporations, do you know anyone, I shouldn't, this is awful, don't think big. Yes, think big. Gary Keller tells us think big. And think about a small business in your area that's growing and that may be transferring people here, or just making the call to them in a few weeks to ask how this is impacting their business. Because not everyone is suffering in this business. If you are a healthcare manufacturer of ventilators, you are so busy you don't know what to do right now. And so try to get out of a thinking of everyone is going to go into a downturn. There's going to be a boom for some businesses, and again, this is not to be an ambulance chaser, but there are businesses that are going to be booming from the long-term effects of this. So understand that don't get into everyone is going to experience a downturn. Builders are still building, banks are still lending, and the general public is probably the last place you want to go, but you can go to it
video.
through social media. Yep, I'm sorry, go ahead.
And I'm gonna stop it for a minute.
Okay.